My sister-in-law announced her pregnancy and our baby's chosen name at my engagement party, then told everyone we had stolen it. Okay, so I need to start at the beginning. My fiancé, Daniel, and I have been together for 7 years. We met in college, built our careers, bought a house, and last fall, under a huge oak tree in the park where we had our first picnic, he finally asked me to marry him. I, of course, said yes. We were and are over the moon. The planning was a whirlwind. We decided on a relatively short engagement because, honestly, we'd been waiting for this moment for what felt like forever. My parents were thrilled, his parents were overjoyed, and our friends were endlessly supportive. The one notable exception was Daniel's younger sister, Hannah. Hannah is 24, 5 years younger than Daniel, and has always existed in a state of perpetual, dramatic crisis. If you got a promotion, she was unfairly passed over. If you bought a car, hers was suddenly unreliable. We were used to it, and we usually just nodded and changed the subject. We didn't expect her to be thrilled about our wedding, but we certainly didn't expect what happened next. We decided to have a casual, joyful engagement party at our home. Just close family and friends, some good food, and champagne. It was a perfect spring evening. Hannah arrived late, which was typical, and immediately commandeered the conversation in the kitchen, talking about her demanding new job. I smiled, offered her a drink, and floated back to Daniel's side. Everything was wonderful. Then, as Daniel was about to make a sweet, short toast, Hannah clinked her glass sharply with a fork. "Before you start, Danny," she said, her voice a little too loud, a little too bright, "I have my own announcement. Since everyone who matters is here." A cold trickle of dread went down my spine. Daniel's hand tightened on mine. Hannah stood up, fluffing her hair. "I'm pregnant," she declared, beaming. There was a beat of stunned silence, then a wave of congratulatory murmurs. Her boyfriend, Ben, who was sitting beside her, looked pale and shell-shocked. This was clearly news to him, too. And Hannah continued, her eyes locking onto mine with strange, glittering intensity. "We already know what we're naming her. We're going to call her Isabella Rose. Isn't that just the most beautiful name? I've loved it since I was a little girl." The room went completely silent. The air was sucked right out of it. My vision tunneled. Isabella Rose. Our name. The name Daniel and I had chosen for a future daughter years ago, during one of those late-night, someday conversations. The name we had confided in our immediate family about when we got engaged, dreaming of the family we would start after the wedding. The name we had told Hannah in confidence, thinking she'd be excited to someday have a niece named Isabella. I looked at Daniel. His face was a mask of pure shock. I looked at my future mother-in-law, Clara. Her hand was over her mouth. My own mother looked confused, then horrified as the pieces clicked. Hannah basked in the silence, misinterpreting it as awe. "I know it's just perfect, right? My little Isabella." That's when I walked out. I just turned and walked through the sliding glass doors into the backyard, my chest heaving. I heard Daniel say, "Hannah, what have you done?" before the door shut behind me. A minute later, he was there, wrapping his arms around me as I shook, not from crying, but from a white-hot, furious disbelief. "She didn't," I kept whispering. "She can't." "We'll fix this," Daniel said, but his voice lacked its usual certainty. The party broke up awkwardly soon after, before she left. Hannah made a point of coming over to us, a full concerned pout on her face. "I'm sorry if my news overshadowed yours a little," she said, not sounding sorry at all. "I just couldn't hold it in. And I knew you'd understand about the name. You did say you loved it, so it's like a tribute, really. A family name now." Daniel, usually so calm, took a step forward. "Hannah, we talked to you about that name in private. That was our choice for our child. You can't just take it. Her face hardened instantly. Take it? It's a name, Daniel. You don't own it. I've always loved it. Maybe you got the idea from me and don't remember. I'm not changing it. This is my daughter, and I'll name her what I want. She spun on her heel and left, Ben trailing silently behind her, avoiding our eyes. The fallout was immediate and brutal. Daniel's parents were livid with Hannah, but pleaded with us for family harmony. They suggested maybe we could both use it, or that Hannah could use it as a middle name. But the point wasn't just a name anymore. It was the vicious, deliberate betrayal. It was the weaponization of a shared dream. Hannah, meanwhile, went on the offensive. She called and texted Daniel, painting me as a controlling, bridezilla monster who was jealous of her pregnancy. She said I was forcing him to choose between his sister and his pushy fiancé. She took to social media, posting sonogram pictures with captions like, "My Lil Isabella, already so loved and already causing drama with those who can't share joy." She never tagged us, but the network of family and mutual friends knew. We tried reasoning. We asked her to meet, just the three of us. She refused, saying the stress was bad for the baby. She told her parents I was harassing her. The story twisted and grew. Now, in her version, I had heard her chosen name and decided to steal it from my own hypothetical future child to hurt her. The stress began to eat at our wedding planning. Every decision felt tainted. I'd look at venue brochures and just feel sick. Daniel was torn between his fury at his sister and his grief over the family rift. We started arguing about tiny things, napkin colors, song lists, because the big thing was too monstrous to tackle head-on anymore. A month after the party, we received a formal baby shower invitation in the mail. It was themed Princess Isabella's royal arrival. It felt like a slap. Daniel called his mother, his voice trembling with anger. "She's doing this on purpose. She's trying to break us." Clara cried, "She's hormonal. She's scared. She's not thinking straight. Please, just don't go to the shower. But don't make this a permanent split." We didn't go. The week after the shower, a family photo appeared online. Hannah, glowing, surrounded by family, holding a tiny onesie monogrammed Isabella. My future in-laws were in the picture, smiling tightly. That hurt almost as much as the initial announcement. It felt like a surrender to her narrative. Daniel and I had our darkest fight that night. He felt abandoned by his parents. I felt he wasn't protecting our future family fiercely enough. We both said things we didn't mean. The word postpone was uttered. We went to bed angry and heartbroken, lying back to back in a chasm of silence. The next morning, over cold coffee, we looked at each other. The anger was gone, replaced by a deep, weary sadness. "This isn't about a name anymore, is it?" I said quietly. He shook his head. "No, it's about whether we let her burn our life down." We made a decision that day. We stopped engaging. We muted Hannah and her drama on social media. We told his parents we loved them, but would not discuss Hannah with them. If they brought her up, we would end the call or visit. It was harsh, but it was the only way to preserve our sanity and our relationship. We refocused with a grim determination on our wedding. It became an act of defiance. We would have our joy. The wedding was beautiful. It was smaller than originally planned, as some family members loyal to Hannah declined, but it was filled with genuine love. Hannah, of course, was not invited. She sent a last-minute text to Daniel as I was walking down the aisle. "I hope your day is as lovely as you are." He deleted it without replying. For a few months, there was a tense peace. We heard through the grapevine that Hannah had a difficult third trimester. Part of me, a part I'm not proud of, felt a petty satisfaction. Then the news came. She had given birth. a healthy baby girl, named Isabella Rose. Hearing it confirmed was a fresh wound. Daniel was quiet for days. We had held on to a sliver of hope that she would, at the last moment, change her mind. She didn't. My mother-in-law, Clara, desperately wanting to mend fences, began a campaign for a meeting. She's your niece, she pleaded with Daniel. Your only niece. Don't you want to know her? Hannah is sorry. She really is. She wants to make amends. We were skeptical, but after 6 months of this, and with the constant pressure, we reluctantly agreed to a brief, public meeting at a neutral cafe. A first step, as Clara called it. It was a disaster from the moment Hannah walked in, pushing an expensive stroller. She didn't look at me. She went straight to Daniel, tears in her eyes. Brother, she whispered, as if they were in a movie, the baby Isabella was indeed beautiful, a cherubic little thing with dark hair. Hannah picked her up and held her out like a peace offering. Do you want to hold your niece? Daniel, his resolve clearly wavering, glanced at me. I gave a tiny, stiff nod. He took the baby. He looked down at her, and his face softened in that way only a person looking at a baby can soften. My heart cracked a little. She's beautiful, Hannah, he said quietly. That was all the opening Hannah needed. I know things have been bad, she began, her voice dripping with contrition. I was in a bad place. The pregnancy, the hormones, I wasn't myself. But seeing her, holding her, I realized family is all that matters. She finally looked at me. I'm sorry for any misunderstanding. Any misunderstanding. Not, I'm sorry I stole your baby name and torpedoed your engagement party and slandered you online. And any misunderstanding apology. I said nothing. I just sipped my water. Hannah's mask began to slip when I didn't immediately gush forgiveness. She started talking about her birth story. Dramatic, the worst the doctors had ever seen. She talked about how hard motherhood was, how Ben was unsupportive, how isolated she felt. It was a performance, and we were her captive audience. The subtext was clear. My life is harder. My needs are greater. Then she dropped the bomb. Actually, that's one reason I really wanted to talk. I need help. My doctor says I'm showing signs of postpartum anxiety. I need support. Real support from family. I was thinking, she took a deep breath, since you too have that lovely guest room, and Danny works from home sometimes, maybe I could come stay with you for a few weeks? Just so I'm not alone all day. Isabella adores you already. Danny, I can tell. It would be so healing for all of us. The audacity was breathtaking. She wanted to move into our home, the home she tried to poison with her drama, with a baby whose name was a monument to her betrayal. She wanted us to provide her with daily emotional labor and validation. Daniel gently handed the baby back to her. He looked at his sister, his expression now clear and firm. No, Hannah, that's not going to happen. Her face fell, then twisted. Why not? After everything I've been through, you're just going to abandon me, your own sister? This is an abandonment, I said, speaking for the first time. My voice was calm, which surprised me. This is a boundary. We have our own lives to build. You, she spat, the fake tears vanishing. This is because of you. You've always wanted to cut him off from his family. You turned him against me the second he proposed. And there it was, the truth she'd been broadcasting all along, now said to my face. Daniel stood up, throwing some cash on the table. Hannah, you made choices. Hurtful, deliberate choices. We've offered a path forward today. But that path doesn't lead into our home. We'll have a relationship with our niece on our terms, in neutral settings, when and if the time is right. Not as your emotional support animals. We're leaving now. We walked out, leaving her sputtering in indignation. I felt lighter than I had in a year. The fallout was, predictably, more drama. Hannah told everyone we had rejected her and her baby in her time of greatest need. Some relatives believed her. But for the first time, Daniel's parents seemed to finally see the pattern. Clara called us weary. She asked to move in with you? After all that? I don't know what to say anymore. We'll stop pushing. That was the turning point. With external pressure easing, Daniel and I could truly move forward. We started trying for our own family. It took time, but a year later I was pregnant. We were cautious with our joy, guarding it fiercely. We told our parents in person, with the strict understanding that Hannah was not to know until we were ready. At our 20-week ultrasound, we found out we were having a girl. That night, curled on the couch, Daniel looked at me. "Isabella Rose?" he asked softly, the name tasting strange after so long. I thought about it. I thought about the little girl who already bore that name, an innocent pawn in her mother's games. I thought about the dream we'd had, now forever tainted. I placed my hand on my swelling belly. "No," I said, with a finality that surprised me. "That name belongs to a different story now. A sad one. Our daughter deserves her own story. A happy one that starts with a name chosen in peace, not conflict." He hugged me tight, and I felt a decade of weight lift from his shoulders. "What do you think of Eleanor?" he whispered. "Eleanor Clare? It was perfect. It was ours. It was free." We announced the name at our baby's shower, a small, warm event filled only with people who genuinely loved us. There was no drama, no shocking announcements. Just joy. My daughter, Eleanor Clare, is now 3 months old. Hannah has never met her. We see our niece, Isabella, occasionally at large family gatherings under the watchful eyes of Daniel's parents. We are civil, even kind to her. She is a sweet, if quiet, little girl. Hannah watches these interactions like a hawk, her smile thin and sharp. She has never apologized, not truly, but her power is gone. The narrative she tried to force on us snapped when we refused to play our parts. We built a moat around our little family, not of spite, but of peace. We let go of the dream of a harmonious extended family and embraced the vibrant, loving reality of our immediate one. Sometimes, happily ever after doesn't mean everyone is included. Sometimes it means knowing who to let go so you can hold on tightly and forever to what truly matters.